Hey everyone, my name is Yoshi and I play the bass, and welcome back to an episode of Gig Vlog episode 3 while Yoshi wears a face mask. This episode is entitled Beethoven the Troll, and we'll be playing with the National Philharmonic this week, playing Beethoven's Violin Concerto featuring Gil Shaham as the soloist, Charles Ives' variations on a theme of America, and Henry Dillinger's The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. I think I'm saying that right. The concerts this weekend will be taking place at Strathmore Hall and Capital One Hall, and I actually grew up in the area and played in youth orchestra, often performing in the Strathmore Hall, so it's nice to be back with a different group, with a professional group, and we'll also be going down there and eating at some of my favorite spots that I used to eat growing up. So let's take a look. This week's episode is entitled Beethoven the Troll. Beethoven was a composer of the classical era, and his teacher was none other than Joseph Haydn. Now there's that famous joke that goes like, why couldn't Beethoven find his teacher? It's because he was Haydn. And while Beethoven had strong roots in the classical tradition, he was definitely credited to be one of the people who really pushed the boundaries and was a catalyst to what ended up being the Romantic era. A lot of Beethoven's works are super famous and are still played today, one of which you're hearing right now. This is the famous Moonlight Sonata that he wrote for piano. And this week with National Phil, I got to play the Beethoven Violin Concerto with soloist none other than Gil Shaham. Amazing violinist, super incredible person, super warm, and just his joy exudes from him when he plays. And in the Beethoven Violin Concerto, it starts off really regally and just nice and classically, just classical perfection, until Beethoven steps in as a troll. So let's see if we can find that moment where Beethoven is a troll. Now that we've listened to the Beethoven and the Ives, it's time to get to practicing. Now, I generally like to listen to the pieces of music that I'm playing before I perform them. But in the case of the Dillinger, the song called The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, can't do that because it's a world premiere. Now, I tried looking for online piano reductions, couldn't find even that, to at least get a sense of what it felt like. So the best thing that I have found to do, studying a piece that I can't find anywhere online in terms of recording, so my ear can learn first, is go through the actual music itself and just get a sense for the tempos and the feels and the keys and any hard licks that exist. There's this one part that makes me really glad that I also play electric bass, because I'm going to have to call upon my electric bass techniques to get me through this particular lick, because it's fast, and even with my smaller bass, which is not as widely shoulders as many other basses are, it's still a little bit awkward because it exists on this awkward part of the neck here, where sometimes your hand just gets stuck. So let's go ahead and get some tempo working. Faster. Faster. After a few days of practicing and score study, we are ready for rehearsal.
So we head down to the Strathmore Hall in Bethesda, Maryland, via 495 and 95, and just walking up to the building is incredible, and the hall is beautiful, and rehearsal energy is buzzing, and we lay down some notes in the hall for rehearsal before grabbing some dinner at a nearby restaurant called Temari. My best friend Kenny and I used to go there all the time growing up, and it's still one of our favorite Japanese places to go in the area. If you're ever there, definitely check it out. And I had the opportunity to go with my teacher, Laura, who was also on this gig with me, so we're playing side by side, and it was an amazing time both musically and food wise. This week's bass section is led by none other than Bob Kurz, who is the principal of the National Philharmonic. He also owns Bob's House of Basses, and if you're ever in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, or really anywhere around the world, he has a booth at ISB every 2 years. Definitely check out his shop. If you need anything bass related, Bob is the guy to go to. After fueling up on Japanese food, we head back to Strathmore to lay down some bass lines for a Saturday night concert, season opener. And after that, I head back for the evening. And the following day, we have the concert at Capital One Hall in Tysons Corner, Virginia. It's always an awesome experience playing in a new hall. I've never been there, so it's a wonderful experience hearing how the acoustics work differently in that hall. So we play an awesome concert there, and we celebrate afterwards by going to Kizuna, and it's a Japanese restaurant in Tysons Corner, and they have some good ramen, good sushi, and overall a good vibe.
Well, there you have it. That wraps up my week at the National Philharmonic, playing some Beethoven, Dillinger, and Ives. If you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. Also, check out the links down below if you're interested in some of the stuff that I've included there. And tune in next week for another episode, and until then.